just not. Awesome. So first thing before we're gonna dive into the actual discussion, thanks Dimitri, you have proposed a really good topic. But I also left a message in our team Slack. Just wanted to check in with everyone, you know, like about these sessions, because I noticed that lately we don't really have a lot of active content to talk about. However, you know, I always think that the design review sessions are ways for us to give each other feedback, to share some work that's happening. Is it the visual work? Is it design work? Is it research work? You know, I think that's kind of like a nice conversation to have in place. I understand that the team is getting smaller and like, yeah, everyone is getting busier and busier. So just to reinforce, I want to like kind of hear maybe some ideas from you or some concerns maybe that you may be having around this session. So I referred everyone to go to the retro for these sessions. Please leave me a message or feel free to just reach out directly. If there is something that's in your mind you think we could improve around these sessions, I would really love to hear that.
Actually, there's been one thing that's been where I've been wondering about. I'll have to put it down in the retrospective potentially, but as we've changed from CI/CD to ops, wouldn't it make sense with that in mind to include all the ops stage groups in this kind of meeting, to have more people in here? Because as I'm in Japan time zone, I know I haven't joined the last two, I think, so that will only leave Juan and Hayana, which is kind of on a low side in terms of product designers. So it would actually be a good thing to infuse a little bit more people into that.
I think that's a nice idea. I'm not sure what everyone else is. Maybe you can leave that in the issue and maybe you could discuss it there async to make sure that we don't take time from this. I like that just due to the potential more connection with the other ops box, but yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thanks.
I was gonna say that I feel that there's gonna be periods of time which we have less things to review, and there's gonna be periods in which we have a lot of things to review, which it seems to be the case because I just added something for the next one. So, you know, I mean, like, there's gonna be times where I know that there have been times that we come to this meeting and we're like, oh, well, there's nothing to talk about, but we still kind of like get an update. So I feel we should keep them, and in case we don't have anything to talk about, we just make like a shorter version of it, like intentionally shorter, but we share ideas or like we share updates and whatever. But yeah, I feel the slot is very valuable, so I don't want to lose the slot, you know, like because it's already set in my calendar and like no one's like booking over it or anything, so we should just keep it.
Sure. I think that's also that's a proper feedback, and you know maybe that's just like in my mind. Like if it's also like say, hey Nadia, calm down. These are valuable sessions. Sometimes we need a break. You know, it's maybe just in my head. I just wanted to have like a back connection with you. You know that I'm not like pushing these sessions. Like hey, join everyone, subscribe. That's also very valuable. Thanks, Juan, for mentioning that.
I agree with you. If we don't have like anything to discuss, we can just cancel or just say that we are not going to join. I would rather have it and then, yeah, find the opportunity to just talk about something that is completely unrelated to the, you know, design review per se. But I think it's valuable to still meet up. I'm pro sessions.
Awesome, good to hear. Okay, Dimitri, well, we'll just open it up then for your amazing topic that that you suggested to discuss today. I'll let you to give some intro and yeah, we'll see if there is anything that I could add because we just recently discussed this with Marcel as well. Thanks for bringing this one up.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm piggybacking on what Marcel proposed, but I watched his video. So Marcel created an issue based on a little personal walkthrough of the merge request widget in like a common scenario that isn't that you know out of the ordinary. He recorded it and showcased, made a little presentation about which pain points he kind of looks at, and this is related towards the OKRs of Q2, which intend to improve the merge request widget amongst issues and something else. I would need to look into it. Anyway, the video kind of spoke true to me personally, just because you see it and it's there. It's just one of those things that has been bugging you so long that you have gone numb to it, which he kind of gets to it in a few other ways inside of his video. But I think as we're focusing both with this effort as well as with the OKR on Merge Request, we perhaps can put a pin in it and actually get something done. Then create, like I created here a little link. Create, the stage group did a whiteboarding session on the issues they found. They discussed some ideas, some pain points, which ones are actually very important, which ones are less, and they made this priority matrix whiteboarding session, and they shuffled them around. So my thoughts are here if we're to discuss the Merge Request widget, see, hey, what information is in there versus the actual value it's giving towards the end users, and then see hey, which current research corresponds with the things we jot down, and then get to some related issues, and perhaps if we got time left over, but I wonder about that, do a little bit of a similar whiteboarding session, which we can post to the UX channel, and we can put into our meeting with product management to get things scheduled for 13.1 and 13.2 potentially. And that way make a small impact, but maybe a very nice impact for the OKR from a CI perspective, because I think the Merge Request widget is so much influenced by all of us.
Yeah, thanks for that intro, Dimitri. I'm sharing here the OKR that Create team will be working on. So I think the first important part, I think, in order for everyone to understand what's the issues being discussed, is to watch the video and the issue. And I'm not sure if everyone on the call have gone through that. Did anyone not have gone through that yet? So
to the Merge Request widget issue, or you're talking about the OKR?
Like this, like the issue and the video I'm selecting in the.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm totally aware of this because Marcel pinged me multiple times asking about these things, because he was interested about how the testing ones work, and I explained him how they work a little bit, because they are kind of weird, the way that the Merge Request widgets in testing work is that they usually take one report that is generated on the base of the branch and one report that is generated on the head of the branch, and then it creates a delta between the two, and those are the results that are shown in the widget. And sometimes, depending on your Git flow, or the way that you use Git, it's gonna show different results. It's kind of weird. So we talk a lot about that. So I'm aware of and I'm pretty aware of the issues that Merge Request widgets have. I know about them. So I didn't go through the video. I have it here, but I think I understand fully what's going on.
Yeah, Marcel also did a nice description of the issues in the issue itself, and basically what he outlines there, that a lot of data that we are showing with the security and with the code quality are kind of not really reliable. Yeah, because he was presenting some examples when he does a little CSS change, and that suddenly introduces a lot of issues and security problems, and then he started talking to other people on the teams, and they started to say that, hey, I never pay attention to those security labels anyway, or I feel that they're irrelevant, or I'm ignoring it because I don't trust it. So it seems like this problem was existing for a long time, and many people are aware of that. And I'm actually glad that Marcel is bringing this up and kind of collecting people around that, because I think we can definitely join and contribute to this categories altogether. And just like Dimitri said, I think it's not only to the create and code review stage group, but I can imagine that, well, Juan, probably a lot of direct dependency to the testing, to the code coverage, and to the code quality not stage groups, categories probably. And then Hayana probably to auto DevOps as well, and like to the pipelines use. So it sounds like there is a lot of connections to our stage groups in any way. So maybe like a couple of good questions to start with is, you know, like, do we have some issues already out there existing that are pointing to corrections of these issues that Marcel is highlighting? Have we ever come in any user research across similar feedback?
I know that in testing we have at least a couple of issues that are bug fixes. I mean, like, yeah, things that are meant to fix the functionality that it's not reliable. We have a couple of those. Then we also have an issue on improving the overall language of our widgets to make it more clear. Sometimes like the language is super vague because it's like detected only for the source branch only. And we have been having discussions about that not being super clear. Because there's this other big initiative that we're having discussing with the security team about like actually revamping the visual and the layout of these widgets. I think there's other kind of like ideas bouncing around, but I don't think there's any issues. Security has definitely a couple of things that they want to do. I'm pretty sure about that. I haven't seen the issues, but I know that I'm tagged on one that usually has activity. It's probably still open. But security is looking into their own ways to fix these, like their own issues in the merge request widgets. So I don't know. I think there's like a lot of uncoordinated efforts to fix the widgets, but the problem is that like each problem is different. The widgets are just visually the same, but under the hood, they are completely different, all of them. So that's probably about thing.
Are those current bug fixes, like, in what way are they triaged currently? Are they like S3s or more like P2s or S2s, P1s, S1s?
That's a great question. I don't know, to be honest. I know that James have a couple of those planned for 13.0. But I don't know how he's triaging that. They're probably not P1s, you know, they're not like super high priorities, but they are being looked at. But yeah, to be honest, I don't have the answer to that.
So it sounds like maybe the first good step here, and correct me if I'm thinking wrong about that, maybe we could collect the issues that are existing today already. It could be in a way, Dimitri, like you proposed in a mural board, to kind of like collect everything that's out there, and maybe we can make a plan to bring that up with the PMs in the appropriate stage groups.
For release management, I'm just scanning the issue. It was created yesterday. That's why I'm like, oh, where is this coming from? I don't think that we have any specific research that talks about like if the data or what is being displayed is irrelevant or not. We'd have use cases when our customers, they just want an easier way, for example, to navigate to deployments and to find a correlation with environments from the merge requests. And I found there are some user research insights around that. I think I'm much more familiar with this research use cases from progressive delivery, from things that we looked into, for example, about merge trains from last year. But then, yeah, need to dig into those details to find anything related. If things are being scheduled, also I'm not sure. But I think for release management, yeah, it's a different spectrum, I guess. And it doesn't touch much merge request widget, at least for now.
Do you know by any chance if we have any metrics on the buttons that are placed on the merge request widget for either release management or progressive delivery? I've been wanting to ask that to Ori in meeting, but we didn't get to the agenda point yet.
I highly doubt that, especially that in the past we would just add buttons there without really considering any metrics or anything like that. We do have feedback about usability of some of the items, not everything. But yeah, maybe Laurie, do you remember anything specific?
I don't, and I need to dive into this. Like I'm Christy opened an issue for research just on merge request. And I just searched for the tag merge request. There are like 94 pages of issues related to merge requests. So I'm not really sure. I need to figure out how I'm going to focus my efforts. So I'm going to meet with Marcel next week to talk about what he's done in all of this, because it's all over the place. And it's like everybody's finding little things that they want to fix, but I don't think anybody's really run research. I'm sure they talked to people and got feedback, but I don't think any like significant research effort has been done. I know the research team has not done anything. So yeah, I'm no help right now.
Yeah, there's one thing that I want to mention. I'm pretty sure that if you do what Savvy like dive into the issues, like community issues, the ones provided by the community, you will find a lot of reports. The problem is that they are hard to find because customers don't refer to them as MR widgets. That's internal code for us, you know, like they don't know that they are called widgets internally. So they're probably referring to them differently, like the visualization of the pipeline in the MR, you know, or like the code quality report in the MR, that type of stuff. So maybe we should start there, you know, like try to do like a better job at trying to find what's reported and what's not, you know.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to start with, because when I search for the tag merge request widget, there are only 3 issues. But if you just search for the merge request tag, that's when you get 94 pages of issues. So I'm sure refinement could be useful for those.
I also I've been in communication with the data team, and like with the help of the PM and the EM of the needed dedicated stage group, we can request the tracking of the analytics on the particular parts of the screen. Like for example, how many times was a certain icon or button pressed. And like, you know, we can do A/B testing and stuff like that. So we could request that data, but I tried to look into that tool myself. It requires some coding and again, JDK and a lot of like technical setup. So I feel like it will require a little bit of a help from the PM and EM to set up those things if we would really want to dive into that, but it is possible. So we could like track that if really needed.
Yeah, this is a bit of a, they say, it is such a interesting UI where everybody is involved with, but at the same time, you know, it's so hard to touch, because if you change something, it will change things for everyone. But certainly an interesting one to look into. When I looked into for CI, or at least the first things that came to my mind were like updating icon button styling. There was like this thing in Slack thread, simplifying our use of status icon, SVGs, like keeping it purely CI, because I would very soon go into testing area and other stuff. So you know, it's hard to find, you know, great inspiration from a CI perspective here, but I'm all ears if anyone else has suggestions there.
Suggestions for the low-hanging fruit, you mean?
Yeah, or like, hey, I would consider this from a CI perspective. So like specific to CI, what would be under responsibility there?
I feel like we may need to give some time for research and preparation here. So maybe I can imagine that after this meeting, I'll just go ahead and open an issue where we can collaborate on this. Maybe it's a good point to start from like researching from the stage group. Okay, what are the things, what are the feedbacks, what are the issues that are already out there today? And then also documenting some of these ideas, like going into the community forums and checking what feedback did we receive there, plus the research that Lori will be doing soon would be useful to have a look into that before probably like diving into any solutions. I feel like all of us need to do a little bit of research here on this first.
So a quick question regarding that. So I'm all for creating an issue, but just creating an issue is not enough, right? If it's just an issue, we're not going to use it. It's going to float around there, and until it's forgotten and not like it doesn't have any use anymore. So if we're going to do this, how we're going to put focus behind it? How we're going to push it?
Well, assigning a DRI, right? And in the OKR issue that I linked in the beginning, so Marcel is already asking for involvement from the other stage groups, and we fall on the radar. He particularly asked for our help because, hey, there is a lot of dependency into that CI/CD part of the platform. So yeah, I understand where your feedback about some of the issues being lost coming from, but I don't feel like this one is particular. I feel like we just need to collect some information before making a plan of attack here. We need to build up a better strategy first. I'm not sure if that's just only my feeling, but I feel like it's really hard to say anything without like seeing what were the historical data here.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll create that issue and then post it tomorrow.
Awesome. Anyone else has any thoughts on that? Anything else that we could do possibly to like collect more information or to kick this off?
I would like to know which is gonna be the main issue to track this. I'm not super sure it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be the one created by Marcel?
I can imagine. I would ask Dimitri actually to link this issue that you will create to the one that Marcel created to this one. I will just copy it here.
Yeah, or do you think it might be an idea to use Marcel's issue? Is that what you're asking, right, Juan?
Yeah, because that one seemed to, but what I mean is that one seems to be focusing on like a very particular problem. So I don't know if that's gonna be the right one, since we are talking about like a very broad issue. Should be that pointed to a more generic one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll at least relate it in that case. So a new issue would be the better option.
Yeah.
I think so, because I think that's going to be for us and like an investigation issue as well. Yeah, so having it in a separate thread, but because this is actually an epic that I put here, and that's also that makes sense to connect the issues to the epic, all related stuff. To my perspective, that would be a bit better because this one is an epic.
Yeah, will do.
Okay. Hannah, sounds good also to you, just to make sure that we all have final word.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that for release management, we're not gonna, at least related to this topic, where I don't think we're gonna find a lot of information, but it's good to stay in the loop. And it makes sense, everything you folks have been discussing.
I think it would also be a nice one for us to put out there, like, hey, we're joining the effort. and contributing, even though it's not directly directed at us. I feel like the merge request or the OKR, but on the other hand, it is. I don't know.
Or for example, we can also create our own OKR and connect it to this one, right? Like for example, the Q2 UX OKRs, they're really directed a lot into the create stage and the documentation. If we want, we can always make a small little OKR for our team for that. I haven't yet opened an issue for verifying release UX with the OKRs, but I could do that and connect this contribution to that OKR in from ours, if that would be helpful. I don't know.
I think that will be helpful.
What's that?
I will say that will be pretty helpful just to track them so we can review how they're doing every time we meet.
Yeah, if we got a clear key result we're aiming for that is trackable in some way, I think, or we ideate towards that. You know, the objective is clear, but do we have the key results as well?
Yeah, I hope that will come with the research and investigation here. Like you know, at least yeah, we can put a threshold for example, for testing and maybe for progressive delivery to work on that to contribute. If of course we get the buy-in from the PMs, but we can see how to tackle that. All right, that was a good one. Thanks, Dimitri, for bringing this up. Let's continue. I think I'll make sure that this is not dying out, as this one is important. Anything else we want to bring up during today's session?
I see that we move. This meeting is now gonna be Thursdays, right?
Yes, thanks, Juan. Well, that's proposal from myself, and like I received the thumbs up from Dimitri and Hayana. I didn't hear from you, Juan and Lori, but yeah, I just because at this moment right now the product weekly is happening, and sometimes yeah, I feel like such an important things are being discussed there, and I always feel bad about missing that. Therefore, I propose to move this meeting, and it's pretty tough due to pretty busy agenda of everyone's, but also I don't want to move it to other days than Thursday and Tuesdays because I feel like this is where Dimitri works the longest. It's already horrible this time. I feel horrible to keep Dimitri awake at 11, or at least at work at 11. But also that doesn't just combine with other time zones, so it's pretty challenging. So for me,
yeah,
it was good.
For me, it works. The only thing is that I have a 15-minute overlap at the end with the testing group call. So I will probably need to leave this meeting like 50 minutes earlier.
Oh. Yeah, and Dimitri, were you going to move the progressive delivery PM UX meeting because it overlaps this as well?
I was going to move it from the next week to the Tuesday instead.
Okay.
So
now, if it interacts with the product manager meeting, Ori can't be there.
Come on, Lori.
Yeah.
I'll find a spot.
We just need more hours in the day. That's all we need. We just need more hours.
Depending on what we're discussing, I can always be late to the testing one. I mean, it's not a big deal. So
we'll see if we need the 45 minutes. You know, we'll see how this works, Juan. Yeah, maybe we can try to make them half an hour, and then we'll see. Because anyway, from the feedback for these sessions, we discussed not to, from the earlier retrospectives, we discussed that we don't want to cover more than 2 items anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel bad about this, honestly. But any meeting moving is such a painful procedure. But I want us, you know, like, yeah, I feel UX should be close at the with the product, and I feel sometimes I want to make an announcement and I really want to be there, and I feel like me not being present or like us not being present at the product, it like hides the visibility of that. So I feel like that one is particularly important. If anyone has any better date, it's like, please let me know.
No, it works for me, honestly. Like I can make it work. Just with the caveat that sometimes I will have to leave a little bit earlier. It's not like sometimes it can be late to that meeting anyways too. So
Let's keep an eye on that as well. Just tell me if that doesn't work for you, Juan. And Dimitri, if Orit will be complaining, which would be very fair, let me know. I made this mess. I will help you to get out of that.
And
No
Dimitri,
worries.
I can meet at least an hour earlier if she can too. Like I can start at 8 o'clock my time with the meeting. So I don't know if that helps or hurts, but I can do that just about any day.
I can also wake up earlier.
Yes, exactly. I can get up early. So if that helps with anything, I know Orit's in Israel, so she's probably fine for you, Dimitri, but for me, she's just a little bit too far around the world. So we try to meet for her so it's not so late in the afternoon or the evening time for her. So you just let me know. My calendar's up to date, Dimitri. If you find something on the calendar that you're like, can you just move that? Just ask me and I'll see if I can.
Super sweet. Thanks for the help. I'm gonna, right after this meeting, I'll just reschedule and then I'll see the feedback tomorrow coming in. But yeah, it's pretty hard because we're kind of all around the globe. Exactly, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and let me know how I can help you because I started all of this, so I'm helping you to get out of that. Yeah, I appreciate everyone's flexibility and openness for this. Thanks a lot. All right. Well, also Dimitri, thanks for giving this an issue for this topic. I'm going to be following up on that. And after you create the issue, it's nice if everyone goes and places the links to other things that might be helpful, might contribute to this OKR. So we can maybe start the prioritization or discussion with the PMs afterwards. Thanks a lot, everyone. Enjoy what it is today, Tuesday.
I'll post it tomorrow to the Slack channel.